You bet we're going to talk about English. Hi, my name is Dr. Timothy Ponce, and I am a senior lecturer in the Department of English here at the University of Texas Arlington. I want to take a little bit of time today to tell you about our English department. Specifically, I want to focus on some facts versus fiction when we're talking about studying English degrees. Next, I want to talk to you about the skills that studying English delivers to you, which happens to be the exact skills that employers are looking for. And lastly, I want to talk to you about the 3 tracks of study that we have within our department. So go ahead and come on and join me to learn more about English studies at UTA. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what it means to study English at UTA. All right, one of the big ideas that I want you to take away from our time together is this idea, this falsehood, that if you choose to study English, you will not be able to find a job upon graduation. Right? There is this rumor that goes around that because there are no jobs that are titled English, then English doesn't lead to a job. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, my own career experience is a testimony against this. I worked for 2 multinational corporations, and both of those corporations hired me not because I had content knowledge in their particular area, but because of the skills that I learned as an undergraduate English student. So what ends up usually happening is that if you decide you want to study English, a conversation will happen around your table with your family as you're eating dinner, something like this. You're super excited and you tell your family that you're going to study English. And you get a response like, "Oh, you're going to think about studying English? Maybe you should study something else." And out of the best interest they have for you, of you being successful in your career, they want to dissuade you from studying English because, again, there is this rumor or this fiction that English majors don't find jobs. So let's talk about some of those fictions versus the reality or the facts that are out there about studying English. Okay, fiction number 1. Studying English is a guaranteed way to end up unemployed or unemployable. Nothing could be further from the truth. Based upon statistics from the Department of Labor, English majors are just as likely to be employed as any other major, such as those including STEM fields. There's a lot of talk about STEM fields, right? Science, technology, engineering, math, all of these other things. And those are the careers you have to kind of seek after, and you have to major in a particular STEM major in order to be able to find a job. I'm telling you right now, the students that I'm placing into jobs and the people I'm working with as a board member at Society for Technical Communication in the North Texas area, that's just not what we're seeing right now. And so again, and also the data from the Department of Labor is not backing that up at all. That's a fiction that's being perpetrated by people, and it's just being circulated around. Fiction number 2. English majors have no potential for making money or being successful at making significant amount of money, i.e. you will not be able to provide for yourself or your family. Okay, again, this is a fiction. The fact is that on average, English majors make similar salaries to those who are in other degree fields such as business when you look at the life of their career. It's true that they may start out at a lower salary at the beginning of their career, but a variety of factors, including being able to catch up in their salary and being slightly more resistant to being furloughed, leave the fact that students who have English majors over the course of their career end up making about the same amount of money, which is interesting to me because, again, the rumor around is that if you don't major in particular fields, you will not be able to find enough money to, again, provide for yourself or provide for your family. Fiction number 3. The only job you could get if you major in English is teaching K-12 English classes. Well, that is absolutely false. The truth is that only about 11% of English majors choose a career in education. And I say choose because the 11% that do go into education wants to be in education. They're not choosing a career in education because they're being forced to. In fact, I left my job in corporate America that was much more lucrative to pursue a career in teaching because I love teaching, right? So for those of us who want to teach, we can. And for those that don't, 89% of people choose to take careers in either the private sector or working mostly for nonprofits. So, what does an English degree actually teach you? I'm telling you that it's preparing you for all these jobs, that all these possibilities are available to you. So what is it actually teaching you? Well, what's interesting is that people are beginning to realize that you need a lot more than just content information to be a great employee. And I specifically found this to be true when I was working for Bank of America and Merrill Lynch. So one of the things that happened there was that as I was watching the onboarding of new potential partners within Merrill Lynch, we were not necessarily hiring people who had a background in finance or had studied business, but we were hiring people who had a strange assortment of backgrounds in education. All sorts of humanities majors were coming into Merrill Lynch, at least the branch I was associated with. And what's interesting about that is we were taking time to train them, going through about a year to a 2-year program about finances and investments. But what's interesting is we were much more concerned about these other skills that they had picked up in the humanities, and we figured we could just teach them what they needed to know about finances, and we were more concerned about them having those humanities skills that we couldn't necessarily teach them as quickly. So what are those skills that are so valuable? Well, let me walk you through 5 practical skill sets that are highly sought after by employers. Now, where do I get these 5 skill sets? Okay, a study was done by LinkedIn, and this was at the end of 2019. They analyzed 100,000 job posts that had been placed on LinkedIn. And they analyzed them and collected the metadata, and they looked for the most commonly sought after job skills. So of all of the soft skills, or those are things outside of like something specific, say like blockchain or C++ programming, they came up with these 5 skills. And what you're going to find is these 5 skills are not only most sought after by employers, but are things that we absolutely highlight in English course studies. Okay? Number 1, let's talk about project management. So courses, say in a technical writing class that you might take as an English major, teach our students project management skills through collaborative assignments that require students to set achievable goals. So in these technical writing classes, you may be working, say, with a client outside of the university. For instance, my grant writing class this semester is working with Mansfield Mission Center, and we're writing grants on behalf of that actual nonprofit. That's requiring us to visit the nonprofit site, collect data about their accounting practices, collect data about their IRS status, and then bring all of that together, working with different stakeholders, combining it into one submittable grant. So that's a massive undertaking, a massive project that requires you to work with clients, other students, parts of our university, and bring that all together into, hopefully, a grant that will award our nonprofit $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. Okay? Skill number 2 that employers are looking for that we teach in English is openness to feedback. So in English classes, we practice a really intense drafting process. We do a lot of writing in English. And if you're not good at writing, don't worry, we'll teach you how to be good at writing. I'm not good at writing either, at least I wasn't when I first started. In fact, I'm pretty severely dyslexic. And so choosing English was a real struggle for me, but I loved it so much that I decided I wanted to do it. And I had some great people who came alongside me, held my hand, and taught me how to be a great writer and reader in spite of some of the struggles I have because of my disability. So the drafting process in these classes require you to listen to people who are giving you feedback, both peers and instructors, and then incorporate that feedback into a project, that final project that you're going to submit. This is particularly taught well in creative writing courses. So if you choose to major in English or minor in English, you can take a creative writing course where you do workshops. Workshops are class meetings where you get together and you'll turn in some of your fiction to your classmates before you come to class. They'll read through it, and then for the class period, you're not allowed to say much. You simply have to sit there and listen to people talk about your work while you're vigorously writing down what they're saying. Then, so you have no opportunity to defend your work. You are simply listening to how people interpreted and perceived what you wrote. You then take that feedback and you incorporate it into your draft, producing a final project with all that information. Employers love this skill set because they're looking for employees who can listen to critical feedback and are not going to get their feelings hurt very easily and are used to having people kind of tear apart their work, for lack of a better term, right? So that you can get stronger and produce a better product at the end. That's what employers are looking for, and that's what, again, classes like creative writing and other classes in English teach you. Emotional intelligence is number 3. So emotional intelligence is a very strange but a very important skill within the business world. So a lot of businesses are finding that they need employees who have this innate ability to empathize with and understand what the people on the other side of a screen or on the other side of a phone are feeling in the situation that they are currently in, even if the person that you, as the company representative, aren't in the same situation. So how can you empathize with and understand those clients, to be in people's shoes, if you will? Well, studying literary texts equips you with that knowledge. When you study a literary text, as we teach you how to do it at the university level, you'll be able to understand kind of what people are thinking in these different situations that you may never find yourself in. But you can then, for lack of a better term, kind of see through somebody's eyes of how the world looks from their perspective. And then from there, you're able to empathize in an effective way with people who you will be dealing with in the business world. Problem-solving skills is number 4. So in rhetoric courses specifically, English majors engage and learn with different heuristics, which is sets of questions and different sort of intellectual tools that allow students to see all sorts of angles on a topic. Those heuristics or those tools allow you to kind of pick up a subject in your hands metaphorically and turn it around on all sides and see it top, bottom, left, and right and try to understand it from a lot of different vantage points. And then those rhetoric classes give you the ability to consider possible alternatives to interpretation, and you're able to reach some sort of consensus about the topic. And you're able to persuade and convince people of what you think is the right way to see that particular point of view, right? In a way that creates empathy and sympathy for people, and in a way that is emotionally intelligent, like we said before, the emotional intelligence, but also emotionally generous in the way that you see different perspectives for a variety of different topics. Lastly, communication skills. So we collaborate in a lot of group projects in the English department. We write a lot together, we read a lot together, we talk a lot together. This is done through digital collaboration through things like Microsoft Teams and Office 365. It's done in face-to-face classes. It's done in video chats and things like Zoom and in Microsoft Teams video chat. We communicate a lot. And the deal is that if you want to get good at something, you've got to practice it over and over and over. Again, that's how I became a relatively good writer myself, is by just practicing it over and over and over, right? And these are absolutely the skills that employers are looking for and that you need to master before you kind of jump into that workplace. So again, English majors kind of help you, or studying English or majoring in English helps you kind of hit all 5 of these through the different course offerings within our department. So there are 4 main tracks of study within English. There are 2 that are similar, and I said 3 before, but there are 2 that are similar, and I'll differentiate them here for you, and then 2 that are very distinct. So the first one is an English major. The English major is a standard English major where we have requirements in literary studies, rhetoric and writing, a variety of different topics, digital authoring, computers and writing. So it kind of gives you a good taste of a lot of different things within the department, a lot of different subtopics. Okay. Then there's an English major with a teacher certification. So there's less courses you actually take in English. And then there will be some courses that are specific to education and learning to kind of how to think as an educator in a sort of A through 12th environment. And we have courses in the English department that are specific to that. And we also have courses in the Department of Education where they focus on helping you kind of become that teacher that you want to be. So again, both the English majors, just one has that education additional component, the other one does not. Then we have 2 minors that are distinct within our department. There's a creative writing minor, and there is the technical writing minor, both of which have great skill sets and have great job opportunities tied to them. Just the other day I was looking online, and I found a lot of content creation jobs for all over the United States that were looking for creative writing students to come and work for them. Because they know that if you're a creative writing student, you've practiced, 1, incorporating feedback through those workshops that I talked about, but also 2, telling a story that is engaging for people. And content writers, specifically social media content writers, are looking to employ those kinds of students. Technical writing is a field of study in which you take complex information or data and you attempt to explain it in the simplest possible way so that your user, the person reading or interacting with your text that you've created, can either 1, make some sort of decision, or 2, they're able to use that to complete a task, okay? So Technical writing is, again, that sort of synthesis and demystifying of complex information for people so they can use it in some way. And we have wonderful classes within that minor as well. Grant writing, document design, information architecture. There's lots of things that are available to you within both of those minors. So, is an English major or an English minor right for you? I cannot tell you that myself. I don't know if it's right for you or not. But I would love to have the opportunity to talk to you about being an English major or an English minor. Okay? If you'd like to, you can reach out to me by emailing me. My email is ponce@uta.edu. Or you can also reach out to the English advisors at the English advisor email address. And I hope to hear from you really soon.